This is my SDPC Race Shop built stock block LS that I plan on shoving a whole lot of boost into until we can go 6s in the quarter mile. Alright guys, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what we have going on here. But first of all, I want to say a huge thank you to the guys over at the Race Shop and the guys over at the Scoggin Dickey Parts Center as well. They really helped out a lot with this and been really good to work with, especially Aaron over there, Aaron Schoaf over there in the Parts Center. He has been great to work with and really helped me out on this deal. And the same with Kurt Urban over in the Race Shop. And of course, Alexis at the Parts Center as well for getting me some pictures while the build was going on. But some of you may have heard the name Kurt Urban before. He's the one that actually put this all together, and he is actually the first one to run a 6 in the quarter mile with a stock or with a LS in general, not just a stock block one, but I believe he did it with a iron 6.0 block. He did that back in like 2005 or something like that. So what better person to build it? Probably only, as far as I know, I think there's only like 3 or 4 people, maybe 5, that have gone 6s in the quarter mile with a stock block LS, and he's one of them. So I'm really glad to have been able to work with him. He's very smart, and he definitely knows what he's doing. So I'm not worried about this deal at all. Anyways, we'll give you a breakdown of what we have here. So we have a LC9 block. It is going to be a Texas Speed re-sleeved LC9 block. So the bore on that is going to be 4075. We have Wiseco pistons. We have boost line rods, which are also made by Wiseco. And then we have a Manley center counterweighted billet crank in it. That is going to be stock stroke. So I haven't figured the cubic inches again with the slightly extra bore, but it was 377 cubic inches before. It's probably going to be right just over that. And then we have the Brodix BR1 heads on it. And also something that we changed this winter is the head gasket setup. Previously it had LS9 head gaskets on it. But now we went to a top fuel hoop setup with a copper gasket. So you guys may be able to see that little bit of copper down there. There's going to be that copper head gasket. So that is going to help us keep the head sealed a little bit better whenever we're making a lot of boost. You know, we're probably going to end up somewhere in that 35 to 40 pounds of boost area. We will see what it's going to take, but it's going to take quite a bit. So want to keep those heads sealed. We also have the ARP CA625 studs. Those are going to help with that as well. Of course, these are a 6-bolt head, but since it is a stock block, we do not have those extra 2 bolts per cylinder. So that's going to be the biggest issue with a stock block. But now that we have those top fuel hoops, I believe that the first thing we're probably going to run into is having the block give out on us now that we have the nice strong internals and top fuel hoops and all that. So hopefully we don't get to that point, but we'll see. Should be a pretty fun ride. There's you guys a little bit of a breakdown on what's going on with it. Now I'm going to go ahead and get it thrown in, and I will update you guys a little bit later. But just wanted to say once again, huge thank you to everybody over at the Race Shop and the Scoggin Dickey Parts Center. Couldn't have done it without them, and I'm actually going to get to test the weekend before Texas 2K, assuming everything goes as planned at their customer appreciation rental. So that's going to help me out a lot as well. So hopefully we can get some good data at the test session and then make our way to Texas 2K and see if we can get this thing in the 6s. That is a pretty big goal to try to go after in that short of, or that few of passes. So I'm not super sure of it happening, but we're going to do everything we can to make it happen.
Approximately 10 hours later.
All right, guys, so we got this thing most of the way back together, at least together enough to, now we're going to try and start it up. In that last clip, I was cranking it with no plugs in it in order to make sure that we can get some oil pressure, and we got that. So we're good to go there. I've got some fluid in the transmission. Obviously, everything is in the car. Mostly just finishing up stuff now. Everything with the engine and all that is just about done, other than I would like to, if I have time, finish off these EGTs. Obviously I just have them capped right now. I want to say a huge shout out to Brennan and Michael Dickinson over with 4D Motorsports. They hooked me up with this, and Russell Dickinson and Richie helped out as well. So I really appreciate them all coming together to get me these EGTs. Definitely a very useful tool in order to see what's going on and diagnosing issues and stuff like that, and would have helped me out last year with some issues that I was having. So really appreciate them for helping me out with this, and hopefully we can get those put in before we get to go racing. But for now, I'm just going to finish everything that I need to in order to get it to the track. And if we have some extra time once everything else is done, then I will get those thrown in, or maybe get those thrown in next week before Texas 2K if I don't get them in time for the Scoggin rental. So anyways, we're gonna go inside the car and see if this thing will start up. Got the converter and everything in, transmission, drive shaft, everything. I got some fluid in it, so fluid in the transmission, not the drive shaft, of course. Don't have fluid in my drive shaft. I did have quite a bit of issues with the water pump, and it sounds pretty horrible, as you'll probably hear. I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm guessing I did pressurize the coolant system, so maybe it just really hurt that pump somehow. I took it all apart and it looked all right, but it sounds horrible. So I'm going to have to try and get a new one of those. But for now, it's moving water and it's not actually in pieces yet. So we're gonna run that for now. But all right, let's see if this thing will start up. We're just trying to build fuel pressure. It didn't build enough to start off that first time, and then it shut the battery off because the battery has a little safety. So I'm just making sure that it didn't have any leaks that were causing it to not build fuel pressure. But it looks like it's good, so we'll try and crank it some more, and hopefully the battery has enough power to get it off. If it doesn't, then we'll charge it and try it again. Still not getting any fuel pressure yet, or at least not enough to get it to start off, so may have to prime the system with fuel and then put the belt on. Alright guys, while I've got the battery charging, I'm going to just manually prime the fuel system since it hasn't had any fuel in it. I'm sure that's why it's not wanting to build fuel pressure very easily and start up, so I wanted to show you guys how I do that. I actually just put a really big socket on my impact, and I can get it down here and get it to drive the fuel pump like this. So I can just spin it like that. I can spin it pretty quickly. Dropped it off of there because I'm trying to do it one-handed, but I can spin it pretty quickly and get the fuel system primed up. So I'm going to do that while I watch the laptop and make sure that it builds fuel pressure and watch for any leaks, and then we'll try and start it up again. I'm going to sit y'all up there to watch that fuel pressure while I spin that deal over. I just tried it without the camera on, and it built fuel pressure really quickly, and you can actually even get it up to the regulator pressure. So just wanted to show that real quick. So there we go, we're good to go. We don't have any leaks or anything. Was able to check that without running the starter for so long. So now we will see if we can get it to start up. All right, we got the belt back on. Let's try this again. The battery's still not all the way charged, but we'll see if it'll work. Just a heads up, in case you're worried, that's not something that you have to do every time with the mechanical fuel pump. That's just a first time thing because I just put it all back together and all the lines and rails and everything were empty. So I had to get that all primed up in order for it to work like it should. So normally it will start right up first time every try, even with the mechanical fuel pump and no primer pump or anything like that. So let's see if it'll work for me this time. Well, it runs. My eyes are all watering from the methanol, but it's running, so that's a good sign. Didn't see any leaks or anything. Checking, making sure none of the injectors or any of the fuel lines were leaking. That's of course the most important, especially on methanol. And everything looks good. No water leaks, anything like that. As you can hear, that pump sounds horrible, but we're gonna try and source another one. And we'll just run that one until I can get another one, or until it has issues possibly, just because I'm gonna have to wire another one in. So if that one will work, then I might just run it, but I'll probably get tired of that sound too, so maybe I'll end up changing it. But now it's to go over everything else and get this thing all buttoned up. We'll be doing the suspension and stuff like that. But that's gonna be it for this video. We'll be testing very, very soon. Might take me a little bit to get the videos out, just because we got a very busy schedule. Today's Tuesday. I've got to be done and loaded up tomorrow, and then leave Thursday, and then we're going to be testing Friday and Saturday, and then we leave again, I think Wednesday, for Texas 2K the next week. So not much time, but we got it running, so that's a good start. See you guys in the next video.